The NBA rotation is real, and the league knows it. There is a specific group of women in the NBA who aren't just dating players. They're being passed around the league like a championship trophy, and they've made it their literal mission to stay in the rotation. Even Michael Jordan couldn't stay quiet about the mess. When MJ was asked about Larsa Pippen dating his own son, he said this.
And with everyone, and there's a reason for it.
Oh, he didn't stop there. He reportedly told his inner circle he was genuinely horrified, saying he felt sorry for Larsa's kids for having to watch their mother be cycled through the league until she hit his family's roster. But Larsa is just the warm-up. Wait until you hear how a certain woman tried to blackmail a player for money, or how Michelle scouted her target since he was in high school. But first, let's start with Khloe Kardashian. You ever looked at someone's relationship history and thought, bro, how does she keep doing this? Because with Khloe Kardashian, her connection with NBA players isn't just a dating history, it's practically her going around the league from one player to the next. And honestly, when you stack everything together, you get what I mean. Back in 2008, before anyone had a clue what Tristan Thompson would come to mean in pop culture, Khloe was involved with Rashad McCants, a somewhat promising NBA guard who is fresh out of North Carolina. They dated for a few months in 2008-2009, and it was one of those early celebrity-athlete pairings that got everyone's attention. But what made it weird was how Rashad later publicly said the relationship hurt his career and gave people an excuse to question his focus. But I mean, it's just the first guy, right? Then came the big one, Lamar Odom. This one was a whole era. They met at a party in 2009 and got married 1 month later. 1 month. It's like it only took them 2 games to go from meeting to tying the knot. They even had their own reality show about it. And for a while, it looked like the proper Hollywood meets NBA love story. But it didn't stay cute forever. Somewhere along the line, there were talks of them getting a divorce. And here's the twist. Their divorce was not finalized until 2016, even though the separation started years earlier. Khloe pulled the divorce off when Lamar nearly died after almost dying from substance abuse in a Nevada brothel in 2015 and went into a coma. Then, even after they finally parted ways legally, there was that awkward televised reunion where Lamar walked into her mansion with flowers.
Hello.
Hey, oh, these are for you, Chloe.
Oh, you have yourself on your shirt.
How you doing?
Nice to see you. Thank you. You want to sit this close? How are we going to talk to each other?
Sorry.
Do you need some water?
But just when you think she couldn't do it again, she somehow ends up with James Harden. Now, Harden wasn't exactly Mr. Clean in his own right at the time, but Khloe dated him for about a year around 2015 to 16 after meeting at a birthday party. They split, and from what she said in interviews, they just couldn't click on the same page. Which is another way of saying he didn't take all that crap from her. Then came the chapter that basically turned the whole thing into an NBA/reality TV hybrid thriller, Tristan Thompson. They started dating in 2016, and this is where it became a public obsession. Tristan was already in the middle of having a baby with another woman when he and Khloe got together. Yeah, for someone who had gone through so many toxic relationships, you'd think she'd know better. Then in 2018, days before she gave birth to their first daughter, True, he was spotted with another woman in New York. Which brings me to the question, what was she expecting? Didn't she get with him the exact way? But wait, it gets messier when they split, then got back together in 2020, and even got engaged in 2021, then broke up for good when it was revealed he fathered another child with someone else while still with her. Now, you'd think, after all, that Khloe would dip out of the NBA world for good, right?
Nah.
In 2025, she was spotted at a family event celebrating Tristan's younger brother, Amari's birthday. And it wasn't a private moment. It was paparazzi. And instantly people were like, oh, here we go again. Because we all know what comes next. Of course, no one is saying that she curses players or intentionally causes chaos. But when you put everything in one place, Rashad, Lamar, Harden, Tristan, and then throw in how publicly she's talked about those relationships, it's easy to see why it's not far-fetched to think that. In fact, she once joked on Jimmy Kimmel Live that people might be right about her and basketball players.
Yes.
Is it time to stop dating basketball players?
I don't, I like what I like. What can I say?
Yeah.
So, that's Khloe Kardashian and her series of messy relationships with NBA players. But trust me, the next woman makes Khloe's rotation look like the preview. Oh, and of course, it's another Kardashian. You really think Kendall's NBA dating history is just a couple of boyfriend pics on Instagram until you actually sit back and connect all the dots. At first, it seems like she just casually dated a few big names. Then it turns into this whole weird NBA list where every new link feels like history being rewritten again and again. The first time the NBA rotation talk really got loud was after that starting five meme blew up in 2019. Someone made a pic of 5 NBA players she had been connected to: Blake Griffin, Ben Simmons, Jordan Clarkson, Kyle Kuzma, and Devin Booker, and captioned it, "The starting 5 of NBA players Kendall Jenner dated." And instead of just ignoring it, Kendall tweeted back, which is basically confirmation that she knew exactly what we were all thinking. That right there was like lighting a match in a fuel dump. So yeah, on paper, she officially only confirmed dating Blake Griffin and Ben Simmons, and we're going to expose what went down with the other 3 as well. But let's rewind to Blake Griffin in 2017. They were spotted out together, courtside, and matching energy. And it was one of those shocking moments because, to be honest, she generally keeps her love life quiet. She even told Vogue in early 2018 that she kept their relationship private on purpose because attention straight up makes things messy. But I swear evading paparazzi and attending private dim sum dinners won't stop the fans from finding out what they want to. It just even gives them something to keep digging for. Then there's Ben Simmons. Literally the guy whose family would later remind everyone he and Kendall dated. Yeah, you heard that right. In late 2025, Olivia Simmons, Ben's sister, was on TikTok telling a story about Kendall trying to bake cookies for a game night and totally botching it.
So my brother used to date Kendall Jenner, and they're just all, the Kardashians, the Jenners, like weird bitches.
But here's where things started to twist into an obvious pattern. After Simmons, she started dating Devin Booker in 2020. And this one sticks out because they were actually kind of serious. So much so that she brought him to her sister's wedding in Italy in 2022, and they were seen at Suns games together. Then that turned into a breakup before Thanksgiving that same year because their schedules and lifestyles were just too different. And even after it ended, rumors about them hooking up again popped up in 2025. Now imagine that timeline from Blake to Ben, and then Devin, and then sprinkle this in. Kendall's own big sister, Kim, literally made a t-shirt out of the starting 5 in meme and wore it on TikTok while doing her daughter's hair. And it got even worse when a video came out of people guessing the 7 players she's been with in the NBA.
You name the 7 NBA players that Kendall Jenner dated.
Jordan Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson is the 6th guy. And then the last one, I'm going to be honest, I didn't know she dated this guy. He played for the Knicks one time.
Retired?
Retired.
Chandler Parsons.
Chandler Parsons.
Really?
The most hilarious part is that Kendall has now dated musicians and other folks outside of basketball like Bad Bunny. And still somehow the NBA storyline refuses to completely leave. That tells you everything about how deep it went. But the next woman, she didn't just spark memes. She had Terrence Ross cheating while he was trying to patch things up with the mother of his child. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's talk about Amber Rose. You think Kendall's starting 5 meme was wild?
Nah.
Buckle up, because this is the part where things start getting messy in a way that's both hilarious and chaotic. Amber Rose's NBA roster starts with Terrence Ross. Now, this isn't some half-heard rumor from Twitter. Ross was seen with Amber at multiple events post-All-Star Weekend in 2016. They were out visibly affectionate, and yes, the paparazzi had their lenses trained like it was Game 7. And here's where it gets spicy. Ross reportedly was still navigating co-parenting stuff with the mother of his child. So, she basically was the side chick while the man was trying to patch up his real relationship. But that's just the first player. Fast forward a few years, and Amber starts getting involved with Iman Shumpert. In 2024, Amber Rose was spotted hanging out with Iman Shumpert in Miami right after a split from Tiana Taylor. Cameras caught them laughing and leaving together. And suddenly, the internet went wild. In fact, Shumpert had to come on TMZ and try to cover up by saying they were just friends.
You know, people are calling BS with you and Amber Rose. Can you clear that up for us? Are you guys just friends?
We went to what college hill together.
I know, I watched it and it was so good. You guys were so funny on the show. So are you guys just friends?
Yeah, we've been.
Truly and sincerely.
Hey, any other time y'all would have just let us eat, but
nothing romantic, nothing.
No, that's
okay.
That would have been believable if this was the first time she'd been caught with an NBA player going through a separation or a rough patch in his real relationship. But nah, this was right after the drama with Terrence Ross, so there was no denying this one. Honestly, she didn't even have to speak. The photos and timing did all the work. Then there's Monty Morris. Yeah, she was with him for a hot minute back in 2018. People saw them out at Universal Studios and a few other spots. And, of course, the whispers started immediately. Nothing lasted, obviously, because nothing with her ever really needs to last. But did that stop her? Of course not. Because she doesn't just date NBA players, she infiltrates their whole public story. A casual dinner and a few photos, and suddenly the league's news machine is running overtime, and everyone is talking about it. Meanwhile, she walks off unbothered. Classic. But if you think that's all, hold up. It gets more chaotic. After going around the NBA in 2024, Amber was spotted leaving a celebrity softball game with NFL rookie CJ Stroud, which immediately went crazy online. And don't forget her celebrity dating resume. Kanye West, Wiz Khalifa, Machine Gun Kelly, 21 Savage. Her history isn't just long, it's public, flashy, and it's heavily documented. She's been involved in adult content creation, reality TV, and music industry drama, meaning that anything she touches becomes instant news. Combine that with NBA players, and you've got a recipe for disaster. And if you thought her story was wild, brace yourself for the next woman. Because she didn't just go around NBA players, she went as far as getting hooked with Michael Jordan's son. You know how we've been talking about the other women being involved in drama? Well, for Larsa, she doesn't get involved. She is the drama. You want chaos in the NBA? Well, Larsa Pippen rewrote the playbook. Most people think they know her as Scottie Pippen's ex, but if you really follow the breadcrumbs, her story is like a blueprint of never-ending drama and questionable timing. Let's jump straight into it. The divorce with Scottie Pippen. This wasn't a blink and you miss it split. These two were a headline fixture for ages. They first filed for divorce in 2016, paused it like it was nothing, tried again in 2018, and finally finalized it in 2021 after almost 2 decades of marriage. However, a lot more was going on behind the scenes than we knew. Scottie Pippen talked about how she was too fame-focused and was constantly embarrassing the family. And if you heard what happened next, you wouldn't blame the guy. Once she became single, you'd expect a cool-down period, right? Nope. Larsa went full throttle and started dating Malik Beasley. Now, get this. Beasley was married at the time. And when photos of him and Larsa hanging out circulated online, his wife, Montana Yao, didn't just quietly unfollow them. She filed for separation a day before their 5th anniversary. Oh, and it didn't end there. Out of nowhere, she started appearing with Marcus Jordan. Yeah, Michael Jordan's son. These two didn't just go out with each other. They made the relationship official on Instagram in January 2023 when they posted photos in front of Marcus' store celebrating Valentine's Day together with heart emojis and captions like "My Forever Valentine." But the fans online were calling it weird, and honestly, they weren't wrong. Marcus is Scottie's former teammate's kid, someone Larsa probably knew when he was a kid. That alone made the whole thing feel unsettling, to say the least. The drama got so loud that even the GOAT couldn't stay silent. When Michael Jordan was asked if he approved of his son dating Larsa, he didn't give a PR answer. He gave a resounding no. But behind closed doors, it was even deeper. Sources say MJ was genuinely shocked that Marcus would pick his former teammates as ex. He went further and said he felt sorry for Larsa's kids for having to watch their mom embarrass them that way. But here's where it gets messy. Just like with Pippen, the back and forth was constant. After dating for a while, all of a sudden, they unfollowed each other on Instagram, scrubbed old pictures of them together, then reconciled moments later. And somewhere down the line, there were talks of an engagement happening because Marcus was spotted with a promise ring. Then, by July 2024, they finally called it quits for good after a roller coaster on and off romance that started out as just friends. And to cap it all, even after all that, Larsa is at it again. In 2025, she made headlines with a new relationship, this time with former pro basketball player Jeff Kobe. And they even made a red carpet debut together. Reports say they've been ringing shopping and planning a future together, proving that no matter how scandalous her past relationships were, she never stops. But if you thought Larsa Pippen was messy for recycling younger NBA players, Dre McKay is on a whole different level. Larsa's just out here living. But Dre, she's basically been scouting her man since he was in high school. Her story with NBA players hits different because anytime news pops up about her and another NBA player, nobody's surprised anymore. It's like when you hear a song come on and instantly know the lyrics. That's how familiar her presence feels with NBA players. And that familiarity is exactly why things went left the moment she went public with Jalen Green. Let's be honest, when news of their relationship came out in 2023, nobody reacted like, oh, cute. People reacted like, wait, her. And it was not because Jalen wasn't famous enough and not because she can't date who she wants, but because once fans put the pieces together, it felt like this wasn't some random crossover. It felt like this had been coming for years. The age gap did the heavy lifting first. I mean, Dre is more than a decade older than Jalen, and the internet does not need an invitation to start doing math. But here's the thing. Dre has been around the league for a long time. So, when people realized she'd been attending Jalen's games since he was still a teenager, it became obvious that she had been planning this for years, and every move was strategic. Instead of laying low, Dre doubled down and got pregnant. Like, she really secured the 18-year subscription because even if they crash and burn, she's tied to Jalen's bank account forever now. The math is definitely matching for her, which, to be fair, is on brand for her. And to the internet, it looked like she wasn't caught off guard by the reaction at all. Almost like she knew exactly how this would land and just didn't care. And look, this isn't even her first time in the NBA streets. Dre was linked to Gilbert Arenas back in the day, which is wild because that's a whole different era and a totally different level of chaos. Arenas is literally one of the most unhinged personalities in league history. And even if they weren't official, it stuck because when you keep popping up in every era like a time traveler, you leave the fans with not much of a choice. Then you've got the part about her working in the adult industry in the past.
How long was your life as a stripper?
I stripped for a few years, kind of like off and on, just whenever like I needed something.
Yes.
But I did it.
But real talk, Dre is just the warm-up. The next person on this list is crazy because this isn't just even about the players only. We're talking of a betrayal so diabolical it literally nuked families and flipped the entire script. It's been years, and this moment still lives rent-free in the culture. Trust me, you're not ready for how messy this gets. Jordyn Woods' situation was insane. Like, genuinely one of those moments where the internet collectively lost its mind. And not even because she was some NBA groupie or chasing athletes. That's the wild part. She was already inside, like VIP wristband family adjacent house key type of inside. Before any of this NBA stuff, Jordyn was basically Kylie Jenner's other half. They lived together, did everything together, and showed up everywhere together. If Kylie was there, Jordyn was there. So, when the news dropped about her and Tristan in 2019, the world actually stopped spinning for a second. Because look, we already knew Tristan was a menace. But Jordyn, she was the last person anyone expected to be involved in all of that mess. And that's exactly why it got so huge. One night, one party, and one NBA player who is already a walking red flag. And suddenly, Jordyn is the internet's #1 villain, and she gets ghosted by the whole Kardashian-Jenner family.
Figured out with Khloe, and I'm just like, what were you thinking? She's up. When I heard about Jordyn and Tristan,
then she goes on Red Table Talk to try and clear the air. She says Tristan kissed her. She froze. She didn't mean it. But at that point, whether you believed her or not was irrelevant. The damage was done, And the narrative was already set in stone, especially when you're up against the Kardashian PR machine. But this is where it gets interesting. She went on and ended up with Karl Anthony Towns. Fast forward 5 years, and they're engaged with no mess and no drama, which makes you sit back and realize maybe Jordan wasn't the problem. Maybe she just got caught in the blast radius of a dude who's been involved with the Kardashians. Jordan's story is different because she didn't hunt for headlines. She got dragged through one moment so hard it defined her forever. And trust me, the final woman we're talking about today makes her look like a good girl. We can't talk about women who have been passed around in the NBA without talking about Brittany Renner. She didn't just stumble into a relationship. She targeted PJ Washington when he was a star player at Kentucky, a literal teenager while she was in her late 20s. The internet called it grooming. And honestly, they weren't wrong. She waited for him to hit the league, and the second he signed that rookie contract, she secured the ultimate insurance policy, a pregnancy. But the real mess started after the birth. The relationship didn't even last a full season before it went from vibes to drama. Washington was on Twitter posting, "You were faking it all along," realizing he'd walked into a trap that everyone else saw coming. And Brittany didn't even try to hide the play. She went on interviews bragging about her expansive roster, even casually dropping that she'd been with 3 NBA players in 24 hours.
On the way out, he did kiss me.
While PJ was on the court getting criticized for his play, she was posting luxury lifestyle content like she just won a championship. It got diabolical, though. She started blackmailing PJ for money and even had her lawyer threaten to have him served with legal papers on national television during a game if he didn't pay up. Imagine trying to guard Luka or Steph while worrying about a process server jumping out from the baseline. At the end of the day, the numbers don't lie, and neither does the drama. We've watched the blueprint from Khloe, the calculated moves of Dree and Brittany Renner blackmailing her ex for money. These aren't just coincidences. It's a mission to stay in the rotation at any cost. But who's really to blame? Do we blame the women? Or are these players just walking into the same trap?
The video that I did in my car where I was talking about how I had sex with, was it 3 men in a day?
Yes.
And then I ended up getting a yeast infection.
Yes.
I came out pretty unscathed.